Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day of Street Fighter League Pro-JP 2021. My name is Vicious, here with my man Saint Cola. We got another week full of high-level Street Fighter 5 to deliver you today. We have a lot to really cover today, but again, it's episode 7, day 2, as we like to call it, to kind of round out who is going to be getting in those top 5 spots. Again, we kind of iterated how important these playoff implications has been and how much these wins really need to count for a lot of these teams. But before we get into it, I gotta ask my man Saint Cola, yo man, how excited are you for this week? And tell the folks about what they can expect for the playoff implication and what's to come with actually the playoffs, the schedule, and just overall the format.
So what's going on, people? First of all, I'm excited to be here, obviously, because we're at the halfway mark. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're getting down where everyone needs points, matches, sets, everything on the line to stay fine. And you all see the schedule right there. But they're playing towards those top 5 spots, as you just mentioned, for that grand prize of 8 million yen. Y'all see it up on the screen right here in terms of getting that grand final spot. One team will get the grand final spot, while the other 4 will have to fight for that.
Yeah, and as you can see the format and the playoffs on the left side of the screen with all of the graphics over there, you see the early playoffs taking place in January. 2nd through 5th place will be seeded accordingly to place at the end of the league to qualify for those playoff spots. The top 2 teams in the playoffs will qualify into the grand final, which is happening a little later in the month of January. So how that format works out, it's the first place from the league going up against the 2 teams that made it from the initial playoff spot to fight for the winner of the World Championships. And of course, you see the prize at the desk, 8 million yen, as mentioned earlier, but my man's over here. The champions taking home 5 million, second place with 2 million, and of course, third place with a good chunk of change as well with the $1 million payoff. So that's a total of 8 million yen. I'm not gonna do the conversion for you. That's what Google is for, but I can tell you what, it is a good amount of change, that's for sure.
It is a hefty amount of change, so there's prize and pride on the line for Street Fighter League Japan. They're not just playing out here just to be messing around, and this also makes people, I think, drive, harder out here. You see people training on their streams, Milidon, YouTube, or whatever they have on Twitch and stuff like that, training together, concocting plans, having strategies, formations, and things like that to really get the most out of the team synergy that they have in play. And this is what makes it so different, is being able to have home and away teams to dictate who goes up first and who sends up their team after that, which just gives a different spice and makes it real nice out here.
Yeah, we mentioned that a little bit earlier, and to kind of recap what happened last week, we talked about who was in those away spots and who was in the home spots. It just so happened that we had Capcom Detonation face off against Good 8 Squad not too long ago. I believe it was on Thursday, where Capcom Detonation actually fell a little short despite having that advantage being a part of the home team. Good 8 Squad coming up with a W again. As you see, 3 points to 1. A win from Kawano, a little short from Gotchiku in a big surprise against John Takeuchi in the Cody versus Rashid match, as well as Pugera versus Nauman. That was a clean sweep for the Boxer main. Good 8 Squad solidifying their spot in first place. Tell me a little bit about what happened between Mildon Beast and Saishunkan Soul Kumamoto.
Finally, they let Yanai come off the bench, and he came correct. That's a 2-0 against Fudo. And then, Nishkin falls short to the damn pick. But, man, we had one of the most exciting matches I've seen in Street Fighter 5 history online. We had Daigo versus Nemo, and Nemo took it at the very precipice, at the very tippy top. And that was a 3-1. And Soul, and that was a big upset because Soul's kind of been lacking and slacking out here against Milidon Beast. I thought it was going to be a wrap, but Soul came through in the clutch, adding more to their scoreboard. And as Nemo said, he wanted to ruin their day. Now you see the scoreboard right here. Good 8 Squad at the very top spot. FAV Roto Z in second place, right behind. Then we have Gilgun, Shinobinism, Milidon Beast, Oja Body Star, Soul, and Detonation at the bottom. So again, you're fighting for those points. You're struggling out here. Some of these teams, especially 7th and 8th, are definitely struggling to get up higher.
Well, we're about to see 3rd and 4th playoff against each other. We see Shinobiism Gaming just falling short a little bit by a point against Team Gilgun, and that's what we can expect for this week's matches, right? Or at least to start off with today. Then, of course, it's going to be Nagoya Oja Bodystar sitting with 11 points at 6th place to take on the number 2 contenders so far, V6 plus FAV Roto Z. Now, to kind of iterate what's going on, we've currently hit past the first half. This is going to be this is going to mark the end of the first half of Street Fighter League for Japan. And as you guys have been seeing, a lot of emotions riding high, whether it's happy emotions, sad emotions, a lot of heartbreaking moments, and a lot of joyous occasions. from the entirety of every single match thus far. But the fact of the matter is, right now is the time to really pick it up. Whatever that has been dealt to you guys in the first half, y'all need to step it up. Y'all need to make sure every one of these wins and rounds count, and make sure to utilize the full strategy of being on the advantage as the home team members.
Same for away, you know, have that strategy for that too as well. But as you said, like, this is where you got to come correct. Like, we're in the lower half of things, and if you know you miss any of these this great action, YouTube, Twitch, Milodon, catch the replays, VODs, and catch us watching. You know, watch us right here on Capcom Fighters Japan. We are going to get into it. Kyogun as the away team coming up on the deck, and this one is swimming upstream, as you have said before. The 2D god, Mago himself, leading the charge with that Kami play. Then behind him, we got Mr. Optimal, Machabo, the Nakali who fought out against the Jeep. That was super sick. Then behind him is the hero of Sunrise, Moke. We've been putting a lot of work with that Rashid. And last but not least, oh man, it is Mizuha Suzaku. What a team of strong competitors.
You are absolutely, without a doubt, correct on that. When it comes to strong players, it's actually the team, another one of those teams to look forward to. And of course, Mago, as strong as his gameplay is, I feel like his smile is stronger as we're getting into the next team that they're facing. The head ninja, Momochi, the leader of Team Shinobiism Gaming, followed with next in class, Fujimura, the master of lethal. With that Chun-Li play, been playing a lot of Kami with a very impressive rate. And speaking of impressive, Higuchi coming in, the experienced youth, the one who made it into the Capcom Cup seats so far, in Otani, Toyoma's talent. We have to see him really start to step it up with both Akuma and Ryu, but for the most part, it's been a lot of Ryu from the young man, and I'm just as excited to see whether or not he's going to be put into the fray today. As you can see, the strong lineup coming in from Shinobiism Gaming, you can expect it's going to be a very fierce fight to see who's going to take over who in the standings.
Kyogun's going to put up their side first, and then of course, we're going to see the Shinobiism respond. One of the things that I'm curious is, like you said, is Otani going to come up? We've seen, I don't know if people have watched Momochi stream, but I've seen them train a little bit, and it looks like they're going to put Machabo on the spectator stands for a little bit. He's been putting in a lot of work, so I don't think there's going to be any hard feelings on that one. Moke, Mago, and then we've got Mizuha as the anchor pick. That's kind of wild. Mizuha of the boy band thing coming through. Let's see what Shinobi does do.
Kind of want to notice, or kind of point out there, is that Mago is opting to go for Karen this time around. It's not going to be the Kami pick, it's not going to be the Akira pick, but rather going to his initial main, which is probably going to stir up a lot of discussion for Shinobiism Gaming. Who are they going to put on the bench, and who are they going to send up based off of this current lineup? I know Momochi has been streaming a ton this entire weekend, and I wonder what the discussion is going to be like in terms of strategy. Fujimura said just as expected, which is kind of funny because I feel like they've concocted so many different formulas as to what the order is going to be. So him saying just as expected is a little interesting. But they do admit that the sequence they were expecting is slightly different.
I like that they were prepared. Maybe it sounds like they're prepared for that Karen pick. So even though it's kind of a shock, looks like they might be prepared for it. Momochi wrapping up saying, we'll stick to what we prepared. So like they're going as planned. Hopefully, I'm gonna say this on my side of things. I want to see Otani come through with his Ryu or Akuma. I want to see one of those come through in the clutch. He's not gotten a win just yet, but it looks like Otani Ryu is coming up, finally coming through again to try. He's not gotten a win just yet, right? But this is his time to shine. Fujimura is the one on the bench.
Man, it's such an interesting thing to put Fujimura on the bench as one of the home squad. But get it, maybe they're confident in their abilities to counterpick, right? They're going to send off Otani to go off against Smoke with that Ryu pick. I'm very interested to see what it is they see in this particular matchup for them to set up Otani up first. So we'll see how it plays out.
I'm so curious because naturally the fireball game gonna be a little bit harder to run. You know, we've got the V skill, one roll from Rashid to get through one of the strongest elements of Ryu, right? And I'm so curious as to why Otani's so stuck on the Ryu pick. He's kind of just stuck with that this entire season, right? We haven't seen the Akuma at all. Otani says the sequence is different from what they thought, but it'll make his practice pay out. So again, watching Momochi stream, they were training him, they were practicing with him, they were getting him ready. Yep. And that's, again, one of the great things about having these multiple day kind of things out here for the league, is that you are able to practice and say, okay, y'all were lacking and slacking on Monday, on Tuesday, let's get prepared, let's get better. And people can actually take a look at that. But that's also about on the other side of things, because people can look at what your play is and look at your training sessions and say, oh, they might send out Otani this time.
Yeah, we've kind of seen that. And during the times that we were preparing for battle, we do have the home team and away team kind of trivia, where the hostess would kind of ask some of these certain questions that might have been brought up on social media. Again, if you guys haven't been following along, Capcom_esports is where you need to follow. I feel like as they're getting prepared for the trivia, I kind of ask myself, what was Otani's record thus far? If we've taken a closer look at how he's been performing throughout the league, he has been 0-2 thus far and has not accumulated a single game victory. Rounds, perhaps. Full-on games, not yet. He has been completely defeated each and every time he's gone up to bat for Shinobiism. So I'd imagine, as the captain, you would want to get him prepared as much as possible for the second half. It may not have worked out so well. You may still be within the top 5 teams, but you're only as strong as your weakest link, and I think that's what they're preparing for the most.
Fujimura says that he wants Higuchi to learn from Mago by not taking and behaving like Mago does. Higuchi sometimes tends to speak too much while playing the game, so he wants him to be more calm and collected. Like, Higuchi's out here, maybe hyping himself up a little too much, maybe not focusing on the game at hand. He wants him to kind of have that calm mind, because maybe those mistakes are coming into play. He feels like he's talking too much. He's getting going too much. He needs to keep his mind on the game. But let's see how that rocks out later on. But again, Otani, as you said, the weakest link currently. So, let's see if he kind of buffs himself up. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of keeping their mind on the game, I was going to ask you about Otani so far in his record, as I was mentioning earlier. What are your thoughts on, I guess, the team putting in Otani as first? In your mind, if you were the captain, what is the strategy behind it?
I mean, it's risky, right? Because we're at the second half, and you don't want to lose any points or lose any rounds and things like that. Everything matters. But as you said, also pointed out, it might be kind of good to kind of, after all that practice, let that pay off, right? And that's also for team morale too. Kind of throw them in to the fires and the flames. You've been practicing with them the past couple of weeks, understanding here's your mistakes, here's your weaknesses, and buffing them after seeing that they've been having issues. Let them come into practice. I feel like if you did put them on the bench, that might be problematic, win or lose, because it's well, you don't believe in your team member. You don't believe in this person to get stronger. You don't believe that they have that drive. So Otani going up isn't the worst thing. Both Moke and Otani have not scored a win in the league yet, and Moke even had a favorable matchup with the G pick when he went up against Yanai. So that's got to be smart on the side of Moke. But I do think that Otani going up is good for morale overall, and I think with the practice, they believe in that, and they probably should believe in the practice. Putting all that effort to make someone better, why not send them in? Why put them on the bench?
So I think you have a very valid point there. I think Moke going in as the first matchup to get a W on the board also. This is kind of like the morale boosting match. I feel like whoever takes it between these two is really going to be super beneficial for the team. But the fact of the matter is, it's everybody in the Raptors are pretty much killers. You can still go either way, no matter what. But this is going to be more of an individual morale boost when it comes to either Moke or Otani, again, as both have not seen a W yet. I will say an overall record, Moke he might be slightly at advantage because he has one game, but he's also played one entire match more than Otani, so we'll see how it plays out. Already off to an aggressive start from Moke. A lot of crouching heavy punches coming his way after an initial tornado shot to see what Otani was going to react with, but okay, gets the confirm, and into the throw, low forward confirm again, into the late Tatsu, another throw, looking for the stun.
Oh my god, that jumping medium punch to the Tatsu. Oh, he's so sick with it, Otani. But now caught in the corner, okay. Yeah, this is unfortunate. You caught in the corner against Rishi. This is not where you want to be. Heavy kick activation. He's got the V trigger too for the extension for the damage. Now I like that. Fade away, do the eagle spike. Now it's my turn to pull the trigger. Time with those fireballs.
again, Rashid does not want to make any sort of dire moves while Ryu is in V-trigger. So I do like that from Moke. He has a firm understanding that he does not want to get involved with any of the fireballs, but it's doing a great job of making his deterrence, right? As soon as the V-trigger ran out, he went in, but Otani absolutely ready for it. EX fireball, quick as lightning, getting the first round of game 1.
Smart stuff to check the dashes and things like that. I like that from Otani. Now feeling the aggression, heavy kick. Shots up from Moke. Careful not swinging out some of these buttons has gotten Moke in trouble. We've seen that crouch fierce maybe get deleted off the table for the crouch and kick. Now runs the Tatsu game, puts him in the corner. Checking in with the fireballs and the EX2 as well. Jump back medium.
Which isn't bad, right? Does get the knockdown, a little bit of meter for himself, I guess. Didn't get the full combo, but you know, now he puts himself in this really rough situation. This is where she wants his back-to-back throws and forcing the big trade from Moke. We saw the interruption attempt from Otani, but it only led to a trade combo benefiting Moke. The counter hit, you let him go.
Cool. Not like this. Where you going? Takes care of the V reversal. A double down throw. EX plus frames. Jump back medium EX. Needs to find a lot more
second time
to finish it.
No, confirm. He's been so good with the low medium can confirm. He missed it in a critical moment. And speaking of critical, we do have the critical art coming in from Moke for the chip. You know, I will say Otani's defense in the corner has been immaculate. It's been very solid. I guess I should say it's offense in the corner, excuse me. But stopping Moke's jump back 2 times over with jump medium punch into EX Tatsu, it's brought him out of the corner 2 times over. He has to find something else.
I like the awareness, just needs a lot more on the table, right? You know, and he needs to be able to connect a lot more of these things. I feel like he's letting damage go off the table some of these times. That's unfortunate. Careful about working that fierce, the crouch fierce.
Definitely a timing and a spacing situation where you're not going to get it as consistently. You have to really time it correctly to get the full hits of the EX Tatsu, but it's just tough when you can't control the space as consistently.
Okay, look for that activation.
You know what?
EX.
He didn't even try to attempt to punish the stand roundhouse.
Unfortunate expenditure of the V bar right there for the V reversal. It's off the table, but no more V trigger on the side of Moke.
Not too bad of a trade-off, I feel like. Otani, again, didn't really make the most of it. He was trying to play some defense with the V reversal. Didn't even hit the mark, but he has more than enough life to compensate for that.
To find more of these crouching mini kick confirms. Poking away, putting that danger on the table. You come through, you get hit, it's your own fault. You see the sparseness of normals from Moke. Knocked down for EX Fireball. Oh man, that combo off the forward movement right there, the forward command normal. Claiming that distance.
Activation. But still, the big whiff punish. Moke knew it. He was looking for the throw as well. Big important tech from Otani. Dashing right up to him. 7 seconds left, and Moke has full control. Otani not even trying to bust out with any EX reversals. He got clipped pressing a button on the way up instead.
Just I feel like that lack of sauce that Ryu has, like he doesn't really have the mix, right? He's all about honest game. Well, I mean he don't hit honestly, but he doesn't really have the mix to threaten. And there's a lot of sequences where I feel like Otani himself isn't being able to land in terms of maximizing the amount of damage. I like his game plan. He just needs to find the confirms. I like the fact that he's threatening Moke to take some of these normals off the table. And there we go. Right in the Tatsu. Another corner.
It's so difficult
get money.
Like Otani does have these openings, but he doesn't commit to the confirms, right? Just off the bat, we saw the 2 crouch jabs into nothing. Another low forward, no confirm. It's been very troublesome for Otani's side. I'm just thinking to myself, he's got to find these confirms. He needs to instill fear because Moke, again, if he sees this information, he's like, well, I have nothing to fear if he's not going to punish me for unsafe things.
That's true. EXDP runs him into the corner. Moke's got that feature. Kick activation, of course. Okay, see how your defense is, the dive kick from the skies. No surprise, Mayans was not blocked, and unfortunately, Otani called from the corner again.
Another EX mixer, Moke as brave as ever. Is this going to be the first W for Moke? Well, he's 1 round away from doing it.
And that's that confidence you were talking about. Moke has that confidence now. He's like, I feel it dwindling away from Otani. I can come through with a little bit of the turn stealing right there. In that back confirm, good punish right here from Moke to get that corner carry. This is showing you what happens when that is just stripped away and Moke sniffs it out and capitalizes.
I think that was more also Moke's behalf, right? He walked into the range that Otani was trying to buffer the stand light kick. And back-to-back crush counters. Otani's trying to use that V skill for the parry. Absolutely getting muscled up right now. He is getting slathered on the hot dog. It's going to be all Otani's death. Moke, he had so much more in the tank to finish it off just in case. The first W for the young man. Moke popping off for Team Gilgum.
Man, that is great for Moke to finally get that win. And that was definitely a game of who's the hungriest to finally get a game on the board in Street Fighter League Japan right now. Moke, you see him cheering, happy, but I see the grimace in this man's face right here. Otani. Moke was just too much of a menace. Like, you definitely see the amount of pressure that came through from Moke to stop that confidence from anything from Otani at all. All that practice, I don't want to say it was worth nothing, but Moke was just a lot hungrier today.
Yeah, you can see Otani just a little flustered, not really showing it as much facially, but it's all about the movement, it's all about the body language. You can see Otani not, he shouldn't, obviously he's not going to be feeling good about it, but the fact of the matter is there were a lot of things he could have worked on. There were a lot of confirms that he might have missed to take down Moke. I think one of the biggest things there is that, as soon as Moke understood the situation, he knew the assignment. Right? He understood the assignment very well. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to get my offense going because if I do anything risky, I'm not going to get hurt for it. Fact of the matter is, I feel like Moke, again, having all of the reversals, all the bars as well to use EX Spinning Mixer, he knew damn well what he was going to do with it. He knew damn well it was going to hit as well.
Have that belief, having that energy, that momentum that you can carry with you. And again, Otani, maybe not having all the tools on the table. Of course, we said before, the V skill, being able to step through the fireballs, makes it real hard and difficult to utilize the fireballs. We want to establish the footsie kind of game plan. When that's off the table, you're running on normals, and Otani ran on empty.
Yeah. And as we see again, Moke versus Otani. Moke getting that W 100% on the EX Spinning Mixers. A decent amount of anti-air, 75% for Otani, but you see a couple of donuts on anti-airs. Fact of the matter is, Otani didn't even want to risk it. Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like Moke actually got an anti-air, or at least might have missed one. There was an attempt where Otani jumped over a whirlwind shot, a V-trigger whirlwind shot, and Moke was actually in time to block it. I'm pretty sure I saw that, so I might be tripping. But either way, 100% on the invincible reversals from a man Moke.
Good call out there for Moke. Puts one on the board for his side. Well, two, I should say, and a full point. That's good for Moke finally getting a win. Otani, I feel like even though they didn't have the results they wanted, that's still something they can still work on. Again, they have a lot more time to work for it, and the rest of the team can kind of come through. I'm sure they planned for if Otani lost, like, okay, we got to come correct a little bit harder. We got to be a little bit stronger out here. Pick up the team, pick up the slack. They're discussing, what their game plan is coming up next, and I'm really curious to see who they're going to bring up. Momochi says it's time to stop this old man next, referring to Mago. How old is Mago for him to be called an old man? He's been around the game for a while.
Like he's about,
but how old is Mago?
39? No, he's like
38,
I don't even remember. Is he like, he's either 37 or 38, actually. I don't even remember. I want to say 37 or 38. I might be wrong. But he's not that old.
Yeah, that's not that old. It's like
if you're in the 30s club, we stop
you know?
keeping track, okay? That's the thing. All right, so anyways, I feel like the only way to battle an old man is to send up an old man. Momochi opts to go up next with Akira, and it's very interesting that he does so. I'd imagine, Higuchi wouldn't want to play Guile versus Karen, so him being an anchor to face up against Mizuha's Colleen, it makes a lot of sense. So it'll be very interesting to see, which is, funny enough, speaking of interesting, by the way, Mago also has a pocket Akira and has practiced a lot with this character. So we know full well that his current character with Karen is pretty much a better version of Akira, at least from my understanding, right? They have a very similar game plan, just a little bit of different tools when it comes to the special moves, but their normals overall, pretty similar.
Yeah, I agree. I think Karen's normals are just like slightly better. Her damage output is definitely better. The fact that she doesn't have, she can spin V-bar to V-reversal, V-trigger, or, V-shift and stuff like that liberally, and not really have to focus on having a V-trigger comeback like Akira, because Akira's V-trigger is fantastic. We've seen it. People got mixed with it. People got hit with the overhead and frustrated with that. That's a big tempo of her game plan. For Karen, she can mix and match what she wants to do in terms of the V system. So having that freedom doesn't constrain you. And if you're Momochi, you're like real focused on how do I get this V-trigger activation going? If I spin D-bar here, how do I get it back and things like that? And you have to be real careful about where you space your buttons in this matchup if you're Akira. So, you know, anything negative is going to be fully punished.
Yeah, and that's going to lead to pretty much Oki's situation pretty often, more often than not, as we get ourselves ready for the away team trivia. Man, the entire Gyogun team behind Mago have the biggest smiles on their face, but look at how stern Mago is. He's trying so bad to hold his cheer in, or his smile. This is the most serious he's been, and you can see the rest of them. Moke is pretty much yelling at his leader. He's like, come on, man. But during the away team trivia, Mago had reminded the team to not feel too pressured about losing. And speaking of which, as the losses occurred, Machibo was actually apologizing to his teammates, saying he's playing at his own pace for too long. So he's starting to realize what needs to be done to get these W's. And that's the kind of thing we wanted to see, right? With the second half coming up, or at least, you know, this marking the end of the first half of Street Fighter League for Japan, it's going to be important because also chiming into the discussion, right? We have Mizuha saying it feels great to play as a team when you have teammates to rely on, which is a lot of pressure, right? I feel like that's a lot of pressure on Mago and Machibo, who have been teammates for so long at this point in Street Fighter League. So it's really up to the leader as well as Machibo, the person who's been a veteran of the league, to really put on for guys like Moke and Mizuha.
I like that heat from Momochi, saying the leader of the opposing team is feeling too confident. He's here to remind him that, like, hey man, you get a little too big for your britches out here. Like, if the ops want to come through, let me be the leader out here and fight you and take that smile off not only your face, but the rest of the team's face out here. But as we said before, this is going to be a little bit more difficult than maybe, you know, on paper at least, than maybe one might think, because of the fact that Karen is just a better version in some ways than Akira. But then you still have to watch about her V-trigger mix-ups and things like that. Most can get going. That help's going to be absolutely deleted and deleted. So let's see. The two team captains going up against each other, man. Mizuha, you know, in the back waiting to fight against Higuchi. But I feel like this is a big determiner match right here. Have the two team captains go up, one of them going down is going to just delete the morale.
Yeah, this is a very important matchup going into it, right? If Mago happens to take it down, that'll be an even bigger, actually, yeah, it'll be a huge victory for a team like Gyogun, right? Who started off pretty much at the bottom at the beginning and see themselves at the top 3 or top 4, I should say. But here we go, Mago's Karen, as impressive as always. I mean, may not be the character that got him into Capcom Cup, but is also the character, he just happens to be the character that has helped him a ton in various CPTs. Oh, no, punish!
What's the game that he's going to have with that? Ooh, you gotta be careful with that. Get a little bit more on that. Get some damage on top of it. Once you put him in the corner, the challenge though from Mago. And I like that medium kick to check that walk back situation. Now I would love to have a crush count off the heavy kick from Mago's side.
So far, it's been pretty solid for Momochi, right? Still contesting against Karen's normals. We've seen how good these normals can be as great bufferable normals. You see the medium punch really hanging out with those wide hitbox, low medium kick, and stand medium kick for that matter, also doing a lot of work. But still, the big whip punish, EX, that's going to be more than enough. Momochi, all he needed was a big throw bait into the spin kicks, roundhouse 2 times over to get the pop-up higher, and get that finisher.
Now sorry, crouching kick confirms, this time with the fireball the second time. And just able to tag and stay solid. He's reading Momochi, or he's reading Mago like a book. And you see the confidence that he's playing at too as well. You know, poke with the crouching medium kicks, those medium punch buttons, like in and outside the distance for the fork or the normal medium punch. And finding the confirm damn near every single time, staying fine. Call it press the button soon to counter
it too. You see Mago kind of poking away a lot with the medium kicks. He's not going to get a lot of mileage out of it. He tried to get a punish on the roundhouse. He thought it was close enough. He had an opportunity to finish. Back throw now. Mago full critical art, but he's got so much to do. How many times, Saint? How many times has Momochi checked the movement against Mago with that low medium kick?
It has been more than I've ever seen on the reverse side right here from Mago. Like, you usually see that from Karen, right? With her walk speed, you know, just as fine with crouching medium kick, checking the walk backs, find those confirms. Mago's had a few misses. has not been able to even stick out that button, has been running the same medium kick to kind of keep Momochi at bay, but it's not working. Because my man came to play, dog. He is on game point. Dominant.
Dominant is definitely the word right now, but here we go. Speaking of, Mago now finally getting an opening the first time so far in this set. But Momochi recovering pretty well, you know, still hovering along. Damn, that is nice. Ooh, the stand medium punch to counter the stand medium kick.
Wicker on the draw, that 5 frame. Finds the EX top to DP ender right there, puts him in the corner, dash up. Gets the wall. Just gonna find a way to fight out. Finds the confirm off the medium EX side switch. I like that. Switch the places, straight in spaces. No anti-air, gets a full jump in. Corner carry off the ashy elbows. Oh, caught him, wake it up, put it back to sleep.
Yeah, especially after that sequence. Hit or block, it would have been Daigo coming in from Momochi. Now at match point, I think, yeah, that was a very tough situation to be in if you block no matter what. The roundhouse still making noise from that far away. It's caught Mago off guard so many times. And you know, this is the first time we've really seen Momochi utilize the fireball in a block streak.
That's true. All right, now starting to get a little bit more dicey with that. You know, dealing with the crouching medium kick, walk in with the medium punches. He's found an answer. Instead of the medium kick, run the medium punch from Karen to put him in the corner, find that aggression. But we know this could all turn in favor of Momochi. He finds the right sequence with that V-trigger activation. Oh, don't let it happen to you.
No, he's bringing him to the corner, which is going to be just fine. But then he gets to activate after this. This is so tough.
Yeah.
What? That was disgusting!
How? Whoa. You know what? You got like Momochi.
Okay.
The air ball right there flips over. Daigo saves him. Dog, can we?
I need to know something. I need someone to figure this out. If Momochi gets that uppercut blocked, does Akira move to the other side temporarily for the mix-up to be ambiguous? Because she shifts over when she uppercuts, then flies back to the other side. I've seen this happen a lot where people would block the uppercut and then not get the right punish because they think Akira is on the other side. So 1000%, that was a mix-up from Momochi no matter what. V-reversal, block, etc. I'm really curious to see how that gets blocked or at least how that plays out. Somebody let me know because that was actually out of the box.
That was dirty.
I have not seen that kind of mix yet.
That was foul. But someone like Momochi is going to pull out the best of the character. If you're looking for the Akira pick, you know, you want to learn, you go to Momochi. Dog, does that even count as one of the stats? No. One on the side in terms of anti-airs on the side of Mago, but man, that EXP should have counted for something. Come on now, that was tight.
Yeah, that only counts if it's an invincible reversal, but you know, he used it as a very cheap mix-up. We'll give him that. If there could be a third stat on the board, it would be how many 50-50s actually worked out. I will say Momochi always impressing everybody on the grand stage with the characters that he picks, but man, I feel like his progress with Akira has been so fast. Like, he has been exponentially leveling up with this character, and it really shows because of the amount of time he puts in on the stream. Like, he streams pretty much almost every day, and has been playing with Akira since. So it's actually kind of OD the way that he's been practicing this character.
It's so wild that, like as you said, just the fact that he's able to attach to a character so strongly and probably become the best in the world. I definitely say right now that he is the best in the world using Akira. I've not seen sequences like that before, and I think if you're wondering if this character's strong or weak, you look to Momochi to find an answer. Now Higuchi's Guile is coming up on the deck as the anchor pick to fight against Mizuha's Colleen. And as we said before, this is great. Higuchi would love to have this matchup. Get the fireballs to make things real unusual for Colleen. She's got to spin bar to skate through the booms and things like that to stay solid. And even then, there could be a bait off the medium punch or the throw, whip throws, things like that. You have a best of 5, first of 3 situation out here. So you have a little bit more time to play. But isn't the most favorable matchup for Colleen. However, that B trigger could be a great determiner in stealing things back, putting them in the corner, making them feel unusual themselves, and run the strike throw game over and over again to see if they can get that win.
And it's very interesting. Again, you said it makes it very unusual for Mizuha, specifically in the neutral, right? Higuchi's gonna have so much control. He's gonna be pretty much setting the pace with a ton of different factors, right? Sonic Boom being one of the main tools, very extensive normals that reach out further than Colleen's does. And I'm notably talking about forward heavy punch, even something like a crouching medium kick, Sobot to kind of clear some space away, knee bullet if he needs to hit at the later active frames to continue pressure. But for the most part, that's going to be the name of the game. We're going to see how much control there is coming from the side of Higuchi and what Mizuha has to counter it. But going into the next match, again, the final match between these two for this set. Higuchi saying he'll continue Momochi's win and conclude the first half with a satisfying result. I expect nothing less between these two young generation players. Mizuha stepping up to play with Colleen and Higuchi with that guile. It's the anchor match. Let's go.
Let's get it. Seeing out the Sonic Booms already. And again, she's got no bar at the bottom. You ain't got to worry about that. And already laying the back fist to face. Perfect distance right there. Even if you're not getting the anti, you're still checking that approach, right? That jump in, like, listen, you come through, I got something for you. You see the challenge on the dash up?
Not even trying to do it this time. He caught you once, and he made you spend dearly for it. That was an excellent counter from Mizuha. Oh my God. Good jump.
That's
no,
done.
he goes for a frame kill instead, but now Higuchi letting the baby boots rock. You're not allowed to jump, and he lands on it. He sent him off to space, only for a dangerous landing at the end. That was sick. He gave himself an alley-oop off the backboard.
One small step for men, one giant leap for you out of this dang bracket, dog. That was so sick from Higuchi. You know he feeling himself after that one. You do that kind of thing, you definitely feeling yourself for the rest of the round. Mizuha gotta take that advantage. You gotta take that down, dog. That was so tight.
That's a cold man. He's been on the streets. That's a cold man. He hit it and not a single expression on his face. He's like, yeah, I got those. Give me the next one.
And now making Mizuha spin that B bar. Less time to get that V trigger going. Higuchi with a nice lead, backing up with the fireballs. And maybe that's that calmness we were talking about before, how he had to have that calmness, and maybe not talk to him and say, yo, I'm nice, and keep it in his head right here. Don't get red. Nice boom right there, immediate sweep. Look how ready he is.
How many times? He stopped the dash
to do it.
At least 4 times this entire game, and any attempts for Mizuha to steal back the momentum. He's teched the throws as he let him dash in. He's literally countered the dash 4 times, and then towards the end, didn't even let him get to finish spending the meter. That is actual prime time strategy from Higuchi. He has not let Mizuha play at all.
I absolutely love the fact that he's able to challenge the dash. That's one of the strongest things that Colleen has. And many people, you know, they complain. They're like, I can't do anything about this when she's dashing through. I can't even see her. Higuchi's eyes are open. He's ready. The no-do's on the deck. Not asleep. Punish on the parabellum. Adding up in the damage.
Okay, there's the activation here from Mizuha, which is going to be a lot better, right? He doesn't need to close the gap as much, but as soon as he backs off, you know what he's waiting for. He's looking for a Sonic Boom to blow through.
Bag throw. Dragon suplex. That crouch me kick on the wake up. Flip off situation, this is fine. Not so fine when you call up in the corner. Oh, he didn't have activation, but that's the biggest punish.
I think he would have had a big, way bigger punish. You're right, because he did have, I think, all of the bars ready, all of the meter on deck. And speaking of on deck, we're going to see an activation from the boom. You already know.
The baby boomers, you better be paying some support out here, dog. One touch situation on both sides. And it's hard to throw out a boom because Mizuha is fully stocked, locked, and ready to load.
Yeah.
And let that thing sing.
Not buffering as much right now. He is looking for the booms, regardless, like no matter what, right? He's trying to do it off of a confirm, maybe a crush counter, and Higuchi already letting him know he's like, I'm willing to spend this bar. So is Mizuha.
Woo! Trade. Lost that light kick though. Yo, skate step through. Break the overhead. Look at the challenges right here from Mizuha and for Higuchi. No challenge, but still Higuchi stays solid.
Big time over win from Higuchi. Mizuha on his pretty much last limbs in this set. Still hasn't found a way. Oh, excuse me, no, this is a 3 out of 5. What am I saying?
We got more games to play.
Yeah,
no
hella
limit
games
on
to
you.
play.
Anti-air right there. Keeps him in the corner. That crouch fierce. We make this character feel real unusual. The spin bar gets some distance.
And I love that trade for Higuchi. Just making sure to prioritize the knockdown instead of just sitting there for the block. Here comes Mizuha now. Trigger on deck, or actually trigger already activated, but still trying to chip away. Higuchi fighting back, countering with his own trigger, but now we talked about this control.
He's what's slugging it out with him in the parking lot. Nice punish right there on the parabellum, get some distance. No more V trigger, but does have super to seal it. If he finds one good boom in the super, this will be done.
Yeah, back-to-back.
He is trying to come the distance.
Already. This is so tough. If you're Mizuha, you can't afford to get any hits. Oh, that would have been dangerous if Higuchi was able to make.
The fact that he's willing to take back his turn, you a dangerous man, Higuchi. But you didn't get that CPT spot for being lame. EX knockdown in the knees, if you please. Higuchi. So ready.
There's something about Higuchi's focus, man. He's really prioritized the best. He's really prioritized the control and has found himself the best outcome he could in any dire situation. He spent a lot of time in that corner. So, I mean, obviously, Mizuha has had a strategy that worked to push Guile on defense. But I will say Higuchi's counter to that has been stellar. He's found answers against Mizuha's strategy twice over already. So more than ready for the block and a full punish.
Making the most of all these situations too, like when you presented with the boom hits, things like that, and you already saw a V skill punish, already gets a V bar on the deck, closer to that V trigger situation, or if you want to, V break or V shift. You get shifted to the corner though. There's the shift, that's what we're talking about. Can spin that, a little bit of a reward back. Side switch too, so aware of where you need to be, not in the corner. Look a little free.
In check. We talked about the control, right? Using the normals as well as a mix-up between sonic booms. But once Mizuha gets in a closer space, he's way more reluctant to press the buttons. And who can blame him? Colleen can be a real problem up close.
Higuchi's not letting go of that space, like that mid-range to close range. Not too far, doesn't want to get pushed too far in the bag. Activation, but just like that, the boom hits. Higuchi, boom, sing dog.
It was way too close for Mizuha to get that activation, right? But there was still not going to be enough to use any of like the icicle spheres to go through or any sort of meter. I feel like, yeah, Higuchi has really stressed out Mizuha the most in this matchup. The anti-air was there, and that's a very rare attempt coming from Higuchi to get a jump in. No, a significant drop. Dragon suplex on the way over.
Brought the distance like the walk under. Higuchi slinging out the booms again. Mizuha just willing to waste the bar to get some distance. Just try to find a different approach or some sort of different game plan, but it's not working. And no activation, just wants to wait for a better hit, but still got punished for it.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't. He whipped the first part of the sweep.
Right. Oh, the punish!
Not quite dead.
Caught him walking in. One touch situation.
He's gonna go for a reset? No, he goes for the damage instead. And that's not gonna be enough. Higuchi was going for the trigger activation anyway. That is a dominant victory for Higuchi, the anchor. He made through on his promise, saying that he'll continue Momochi's win and conclude with a satisfying result. That was more than satisfying. That was a bus ass. That was a demolishing. He destroyed Mizuha in convincing fashion.
Expeditiously, he was on the Grizzly. He mauled that dude. There was nothing left. That's a 3-1 score right there. Shinobiism walking away with the victory. And I love the fact that Higuchi was so confident. And hey, sometimes all it takes is like keeping all that, you know, that energy inside your body, inside your brain to stay solid. Because we definitely saw him make the most out of damn near every situation that he was presented, and that led him to victory. Higuchi didn't get that CPT spot for nothing.
Without a doubt, I'm very eager to see what the stats are going to be, but the more important thing is the fact that it was 3-0. I highly encourage you guys to check out that match. If any Guile players are in the chat and you want to know how to play against a top tier player or top caliber player like Mizuha with that Colleen, you definitely need to check out this match. As you can see here, although Mizuha had the better percentage in terms of anti-air, it didn't lead to the success he was looking for. 3-0 from the side of Higuchi, 50% on anti-airs. A little bit of a mishap with the EX uppercut or EX flash kick, not too big of a deal. I will say, again, Higuchi just understood the assignment way too well. Mizuha, a little bit behind in class.
I do like the fact that we did see maybe one whip flash kick and no more beyond that, right? So like that kept, again, that solid game plan, because you don't want to give her a chance to get V-bar with a crush counter, stay to the corner, things like that. He kept that off the table. Didn't really need to bust out that many times. Just stayed focused, moved forward, and found the finish. Now we're going to be able to get a little bit of the home team interview coming up. Man, that was a sound defeat. Like, I'm very shocked at how that went, because Higuchi just to loop a lot of game plans that just not work out. Mizuha to loop those game plans and not work out. But Higuchi's side, for him to just stay so solid and so aware and find conversions off of damn near anything, that check at the very end into the super was fantastic. No fear in that man's face at all.
Yeah, that's a man who's been traveling the path of training mode for hours and hours on end. You know, I don't even want to know how many hours he spent in the lab, but the fact of the matter is, that was the fruit of his labor. There wasn't anything that seemed like a scramble. He felt very confident in his gameplay. There was a lot of deliberate ideas being thrown out there that made that message clear. He wanted to control the neutral as much as possible, and he did it very well by throwing out some of those long limbs. Forward Fierce being one of them, Sonic Boom being the special move to control, and a lot of medium kicks. That's literally what we prefaced it with, and look what happened in the beginning of the matchup. He threw out Forward Fierce, and he checked with low medium kicks. Again, Higuchi understood the assignment. Simple as that.
Fantastic match that we've seen all around. That's going to put a lot of points on that side. Shinobi's gaming. Yogun not down out just yet. Mochi's saying that strategy went as well as they thought. So again, having a strategy prepared, not only for the team-based situation, but the players they have to fight, and also like who they want to send up and their matchups and things like that, all comes to fruition out here. And that's what you have to focus on Street Fighter League. It's not just about you, the singular side. It's about the team-based strategy. And it worked out in the clutch. Even though Otani didn't come through and come correct all the way, we might see him some other day in a different sort of way. I like the fact that they kept up on morale, and I like the fact that they came through with Higuchi on the anchor side. Well played to Shinobiism.
That's going to be pretty important with them currently in their current standings, I should say. I think Yogun had the lead, but by a point against Shinobiism. But, you know, considering what had just happened, that should be, what, 3-1 for the side of Shinobiism with a very impressive win. That's going to place them to third place, so they're going to be big chillin', if I'm not mistaken. Momochi also had a little bit of a tidbit for Otani, saying that he did pretty well, but he hopes to see him score better when it goes to the second half. And that's very important, right? Otani still not able to get a W on the board, but we still have so much more to go through. When you're looking at the actual schedule itself, the next time Shinobiism is going to be playing is 3 days from now on the 11th, when they face off against Mildon Beast. And we'd like to remind you guys, we have a lot coming out in December. We still have another character coming out this month. And what better time to join Street Fighter V in the fighting game community than now? Be sure to pick up a copy of Street Fighter V Champion Edition right now. Or if you want to wait it out till you get the entirety of it, including the DLC, pick it up in December.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and look at that. I can't wait. I hope somebody uses Luke. Just throws like a wrench in the game plan. Uses Luke out here. But when we return from the break, coming up, Nagoya Oja Body Star versus FAV Roto Z. Dog, how you feeling about that match?
I'm absolutely hyped for it, right? I want to know how Nagoya is going to step up to the plate to the number 2 ranked team. And honestly, the V6 plus FAV Roto Z team has a team full of killers, right? We have Evo champions. we have legendary warriors like Sakunoko, and we have some newcomers, some up-and-comers, I should say, through Ryusei. It's very, very interesting to see how this team hasn't been in first place, but there's also one other team, Good 8 Squad, really helping them out, or really messing with their scores, I should say. So it's going to be a real challenge. It's going to be Nagoya Ultra Body Stars up against the V6 team a little bit after this break. A lot to look forward to because of the fact that Nagoya Ultra Body Stars has MOV with currently a very rough start into the league, into the first half. But we'll see how it plays out after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Street Fighter League Pro-JP. Going right into the next match. Welcome back, everybody, to Street Fighter League Pro-JP. We got ourselves the number 2 team coming up to bat. It is Sakunoko leading the pack for V6 plus FAV Roto C, followed by the young man with the eyes of desperation, Ryusei. Of course, we've talked about how good this team is for the sole fact that we have back-to-back EVO champions through the ways of Tokido, the genius pro gamer, as well as none other than Papa Bonchan, the executioner of justice.
Wash your necks, other team. They're coming for you. But they're still going to have a doozy to fight today because their enemies are the Nagoya Oja Body Star. Let's see if they can avoid getting bodied. But they got a heavy amount of hitters on this squad. They lead the pack. Yo, Akira, one of my favorite Kami players, the lightning fast Akira, that is Blue Lake Shy no more. Then, the youngness explosion, Oniki, with that bison play. Right behind is going to be the maestro of movement, I'm sorry, MOV saying, I ain't free, hopefully today. And at the end is Dogra, the devil of victory himself, a fully loaded team full of dictators, Kami picks, and something a little wild with the Chun-Li. Now, we've already said how many times that is important for MLB to get a victory because he is lacking out here. He has not been able to find one like some of the other players that we saw previously before the break, right? MOV, let's see if he even goes up this time or if he's going to send the rest of the crew through.
You know, he's played a handful of times already, 5 times over. The last time we saw him was on episode 6, day 1. I would expect him to be in again, but we'll see how it plays out. As it stands right now, V6 setting up, Ryusei first, Sakunoko second, and Tokido last. Papa Bonchan staying home and babysitting the kids tonight.
You know, gotta change some diapers, you know? Kids screaming in the back is like, hold on now, I'll just watch and give you some suggestions from the spectator seats. But that's one of the great things, again, for the team, stuff. You can actually sit there and, collaborate a little bit, even if you're on the stands. So even though he's on the stands right there, he can definitely help out in terms of the matchups. Let's see what their team is going to discuss in terms of, the home team. Oja Body Star, as you said before, MOV kind of lacking. Maybe not making the victories that he wants to have after coming up consistently. He got so close the last time we saw him, right? So close. Dogra saying, what coincidence? That's exactly what they thought. Look at how well planned out these teams are. That they do the math, they do the chemistry, the trigonometry, all that stuff to figure out what their teams are going to do and try to make them free.
With that in mind, the consideration of Ryusei, Sakunoko, Tokido, we have Minot with the Urian bodyguards, left and right. So that's going to be very interesting to see. We're going to see 2 different types of play styles, one in the beginning and one towards the anchor. You got to imagine, what can Team Nagoya Oja Body Stars do to put FAV Roto Z into a Nagoya Oja body bag?
Ooh, I like the Bison picks on this team. That could definitely take care of the Minot. So that's off the table, if they want to run the Bison. But for right now, they're already putting one of the dictators up to bat. Yo, I love seeing this character. The amount of pressure that he puts on and the fact that he's still strong even with the V-shifts at play. But going up against Ryusei, not going to be easy. One more aggressive Urians in the business. One that's been focused to make something of this dream of being a pro gamer out here. MOV is going to be on the bench again. Oniki Dictator's going up first. Oniki saying that he's very confident in the Urian matchup, so he's excited to play this match. And I'm excited to see him play this match out.
I wonder if it's going to be the double Bison back-to-back, right? Oniki going up first, as we saw already. Sakunoko as second with Minot. I feel like Dogra wouldn't mind playing it, to be honest with you. I'd be very curious to see because I do like, we're talking about the future here. I do like Akira as Kami facing off against Tokido's Urian. I would love to see that matchup. I think as we get ourselves with the home trivia, I kind of want to know what it would be like to see the young star go up against one of the more established pillars in the community. Pillars of fighting games. Pillar of Street Fighter, Tokido.
I mean, Tokido's had a lot of experience fighting Kami. You saw him fight NL, a lot of Kamis, even in this, the Street Fighter League Japan. But those are not the same flavor as Akira. He calls himself, again, the bootleg shot high, but he's something different. The wake up EXTK dive kicks are absolutely ridiculous. It's hard to read him. MLB is very grateful for his to be in this team, and Dogra is saying Akira really looks like a Japanese singer celebrity called Gin Hoshino. But still, Gin
Hoshino. Gotcha.
Hoshino.
That makes sense. I see. So Akira actually agrees to that, and he says he gets that kind of comment a lot, which is very interesting. Maybe he might pursue a kind of a different kind of career after Street Fighter. Maybe he'll join round 5 and turn it into round 6. Who knows? But I do like to say that that Twitter has been taking a liking to Dogura's lemon scent, the little incense that he puts on around because it helps his reactions, quote unquote. Twitter actually commented asking Dogura if it's still used to this day, if it's still being used for his matchups. Fact of the matter is, you saw it on his webcam. He actually pulled it out earlier. He was like moving back and forth and talking about it, or at least showing it off. So Dogura is definitely showing that off on his camera. But going into the matchups themselves, we kind of talked about earlier Tokido being in the anchor seat. You mentioned him playing against Cammy. He actually hasn't played a single Cammy in Street Fighter.
Oh, my bad. I'm sitting here watching too many of the CFNs and things like that and preparing for the possibility.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, it would be very interesting to see how Tokido takes on someone like Akira with a really fresh take on it. I feel like he's been the most aggressive I've seen in a while, actually, and it's found the most success with it. There's something about his reads that have really putting a wrench in a lot of these players' gears. Like, and again, it's one of those things where it's been said so many times over on multiple events. If you want to play Street Fighter 5, you must understand how to play against someone like Cammy, right?
Right.
And I think Akira brings a fresh kind of take to it, and really kind of turns that idea upside down against even the more established players. We've seen that already. He has a very impressive record thus far, so I'm kind of curious to see it as we get ourselves ready for Oniki and Ryusei first. It was just a little bit of setting up for the matches in terms of what's going to happen for the second and third match. But going into it, it's going to be Bison, aka Dictator, going up against Urien through the hands of Oniki and Ryusei.
Curious to see what he means by being confident in a match. Like he's capable of taking care of the fireballs on the deck, anti-airing, staying the right distances and things like that, finding whip punishes. Because dealing with the neutral of Urien means dealing with the medium punches, the buffers and things like that. But Bison does have a lot of great tools. He does have the crouch fierce, the anti-air, if he has it at the right angles and things like that. He does have the fierce to deal with the fierce of Urien if it's misplaced. You see it just like that, but too far out. Had to go for the Inferno because he didn't have the charge for the scissor kick.
That's kind of tough, right? He has to go forward. He's seeing that Ryusei is kind of playing the people again a little bit, but man, Oniki off to a fantastic start. This is what I like to see, right? Putting him on the bench, I feel like, is not going to be the best choice. Oniki's offense has been so good, but you also have somebody like Ryusei, who's also pretty flashy on offense himself.
You're in stock, fierce. Yeah, using that single crush get out. You'll take that Batista bomb. Don't want to take too much more though. EX knees if you please.
The knees, yes sir. That's the way for Ryusei to close the gap. He doesn't even care if he has the life. He's going straight in there. No anti-airs from Oniki being pushed on the back burner. Ryusei very aggressive, and you can see how eager he is to get this W.
Constantly have to space yourself out right if you're Bison. You get that crouch fierce. It's predictive. It does cover a lot of range and can deal with the knees. But you have to be at the right range. And if it's the EX one, you gotta get clipped. Now catching him lacking with the EX, gets a knockdown. Down for fierce. I like that sequence right there. If you do leave, I'm gonna get a little bit of gray lives. Once the feet does it raw, you say be swinging out here. But I still like Oniki's walking to the corner. Real problematic if you're Bison. I mean, if you're Urien.
A whiff punish there, a little short on the scissors. That's the multiple times Oniki has actually fired away with scissor kick and have not found the mark multiple times. But here comes Ryusei now. Anti-air even above him. Safe zone. Plus frames for Ryusei, still applying pressure with the knees afterwards. One more touch, one more throw. Very convincing game one for Ryusei.
Urien wins. It's kind of wild because if you would have told me that Ryusei was ready for this matchup, I would definitely agree. Using the EX knees consistently, especially in that second round, after he found out Oniki kind of had trouble dealing with the anti-air situation right there. He got clipped once, but taking the skies multiple times, keeping real aggressive with the EX bar usage, and just staying solid on these dash ups, catching Oniki sleeping, has found him a win.
What's interesting about the dynamic of both teams is that they both have players giving them advice that also main the same characters, right? With Ryusei, he has advice from Tokido. For Oniki, he has advice from Dogura. So I'm kind of curious. I wish I could hear and get translations, but you know, that's asking for a lot. I feel like I would love to know what they're saying to each other for the advice. That'd be so sick to see different perspectives or hear different perspectives.
I'm seeing right now, so he can catch him at the corner, but commentator's curse gets the counter hit on the wake up, and that crouch fist activation so strong, the best in the business in terms of activating. No back throw into the mirror though.
Still has one mirror left. EX headbutt. He's got to let it rip soon. No, they'll confirm off the lights into the target combo. Yes, sir. Ryusei. Oh, no, he dropped it. He's trying to make some changes to the contract. He couldn't strike a deal with Bison. He's out of there. He knows a bad deal when he sees one.
Trying to stay solid. Take a little more. Skim some off the top.
He's trying to get some tip for his management. Oh, no, he's trying to keep some money for himself.
Embezzlement.
Oh, no. He got caught. He got caught for extortion. That's the thing. He tried to embezzle some money. Didn't happen. He was trying to siphon off some money for the production of this, the construction of this bridge. Wasn't gonna happen. These kids ratted him out.
So you need to come with me? What did I do? You know what you did.
Excuse me, sir. You can't look to pay this with Bison bucks, sir.
These aren't real. Bison begs to differ out here. He said we changed the currency. Well, I'm changing your face. EX headbutt comes through in the play stuff. Coconut brain. Back though, like this. Get the positioning. You got the activation card. We want some close to the corner. Just like this.
There we go. Finally gets an opening with the Aegis Reflector. Puts him in a real awkward position. We see, man, Oniki could not resist the handshake. And here we go. This is the deal that you made with the madman Ryusei. 2 games against the young man Oniki. That's actually pretty impressive. We haven't seen Oniki falter that hard thus far in his performances, but there's one man that made him do it so far, and that is Ryusei.
I like Ryusei using the bar when necessary, but also the side of understanding that if Oniki doesn't have bar, there's not much I have to worry about in terms of getting threatened. Maybe like a full screen side, whatever. But that's when I can put in my pressure. And Oniki not able to get enough off these EX scissor kick knockdowns that we saw. A few of those whiffed, and that could have been, you know, put this character on the back and you run your pressure game. That just didn't happen. More feature usage on the side, also for Ryusei. Those mirrors just too deadly.
I do have to fix my face a little bit. I did kind of misspeak there. Oniki actually fell short to Mizuha in a very similar fashion, not getting a single game. I believe that happened back in October, but ever since then, Oniki has done a pretty solid job, I feel like, or at least even prior to that. Actually, a couple of days prior to that, he actually had a very important win, but since then, we haven't seen him play too much. So currently, in the 3 times that he's played, he's pretty much 1 and 2.
Not too bad, but you still gotta have as many points as possible out here. Naturally, as we're in the second half, see 3 EX headbutts right there coming from the side of Ryusei. No, obviously no invincible ones from Bison. Bison players everywhere hoping to have that to turn the tide, because you have to spend V bar for the V reversals or lights. But again,
no, we're not giving him anything reversal, nothing. Nope, we're not giving him any. No.
Dang, you should stop me from downplaying Bison, dang!
No invincible reversals, none of that. He doesn't need it. Nope. Sorry. Sakunoko versus Akino coming up next. Sakunoko has been rocking that, but not time and time again. I don't even know how often does he get benched. I feel like he's only played a handful of times. Now that I think about it, so far he's played 3 times, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so far in the league. And there's only been 1 time thus far where he's actually gotten a W. He's been in the end position 2 times over, so this time around he's put in the 2nd place spot up next. What I want to know is who's going to be sent up. I honestly do think it's going to be Dogura coming up next, but I might be wrong.
Dogura himself says that Oniki did well and shouldn't feel too bad. There's too many dangerous headbutts in that match. Everyone's just joking around the discussion time. But I think you're right. Bison does very well against Mana. Can absorb the ball and put the pressure on. And when she tries to challenge with the light, if she doesn't have EX bar, it's not too dangerous, right? You can take like a light in the EX orb, but it's not going to be too dangerous for Bison to kind of take that. And that's a risk reward that's more in favor of Bison applying the pressure. UV reversal, you know he's going to be on the hunt. And
you're talking about the light. You mean that's coming from the side of Sakunoko's Minot, right? Were you talking about the light?
Yeah, because if you challenge with light.
I'm sorry, what was the context?
My bad. The lights from Manat are not going to be as useful as the lights from Bison on terms of challenging for like a reversal situation, unless, you know, Manat's got bar. Like, you're not too threatened by her waking up with light as you are versus Bison, who definitely you're threatened by.
I feel like one of the biggest issues here is Dogura, or at least Bison, trying to close the gap against Sakonoko, right? There are a handful of things that Bison can do, right, with a lot of forward movement. Of course, Psycho Axe being one of them that really close the gap. Slide also very risky. Scissor Kick being another thing. But what do you do about the orb, right? You did mention the use of possibly V-skilling the orb on it, or, on its arrival, but I'm sure Sakonoko has had certain strategies against that over the years. But I'm curious, or at least the time that Manat was available, right? I'm kind of curious to see it as we get ourselves ready for the trivia. I really want to know how Sako has really prepped himself so far. He is currently 1-2 as well in terms of the record. He's been in the anchor seat plenty of times before, but maybe his teammates have something to say in regards to the away team trivia.
Coming up soon. Before that, Dogura said he's lost too many times in a close manner. He's had enough of losing. He's hungry. He wants more wins for the team. W's only, no L's.
As he should. I mean, like, you got to make sure to get as many points as possible to climb up within the top 5. I think the way that Nagoya Ultra Body Stars has been playing, I think they've been at the cusp of getting a lot of these W's, just falling short by the wayside. And I do want to kind of emphasize that it's been through the hands of MOV. I'm not trying to say, like, you know, he's had a losing record and that was it. If you look at all of his matches thus far, it's been absolutely close, but there's been so many situations where he's not able to solidify the win. He's not able to close it out. There's been so many instances where his opponents have clutched it out against him, and it's been really a really emotional time for MOV in a negative light. I feel like MOV has had more than enough to prove, or at least more than enough firepower to beat some of the best players out here. It's just fallen right through his fingers when he really needed it the most.
Yeah, the site confirms here and there. The last time that he had was a big heartbreaker against Fudo. Tokido himself says he wants Ryusei and Banshin to win every single match from here on out. Sakura says we'll do just our best, or we'll just do our best. And Banshin saying Tokido needs to loosen up more and smile more. You know, Tokido does have, you know, moments where he is goofy, but it seems like right now Tokido isn't really showing a lot of that emotion, and like he wants him to loosen up a little bit before he goes in the match, not be too stressed and stern, so you can keep, you know, focused. But that's the murder face, though. I mean, that's the tried true murder face. Can't let that go.
That's true. I think smiling more is a detriment to his brand. He wants to make sure he gets as many points as possible with the murder face left. Actually, now that I really think about it, all jokes aside, he's been sort of a goofball on social media lately. He's even done the kind of intros that the players have done, but has like kind of imitated some of the poses and some of the intros of the other players. It's really funny, actually. I retweeted it not too long ago on my account, showing Tokido just kind of doing all the players' intros. It's really interesting. But here we go. What's even more interesting than that, this matchup, Dogura versus Sakonoko. Only the best of the best here at Super League, and going into the next match.
Sir. Sets up the orb a bit weaker. Only sort of the normal. Can't really combat. Trade. Not a bad trade right here for Bison. Already getting in with the down 4 Fierce, as we said before. Last time he gets the knockdown down 4 Fierce with a crush. Ooh, the drill to escape, though. Escape.
Excellent choice of V-break. But now we're going to talk about, I was going to say the orb still behind Sakonoko. This is kind of interesting ordeal now. Although Dogura is within range to start harassing Sakonoko, he hasn't been able to successfully. A couple of straight hits. Okay, this is going to be great now. We might see an activation very soon. Damn, that fierce reach! I can't believe it.
From a distance. Yeah, you see Dogura looking for the right time to shine when it comes to that activation. Can slide on through. Willing to block all these sequences out. Does have the lead health. And that's what I was talking about. Those orbs the orb. Gets that fireball out. Dash up. As soon as he sends the orb out, I like how he's finding the moments and the gaps just to get the dash up and apply some pressure. Now there's the slide activation. That grip. Oh, okay. The cross up on the Cycle Crusher. The back door and a scissor kick to do it.
How interesting. I'm kind of curious as to why Sakonoko went for that raw activation, maybe thinking Dogura wasn't going to go for a scissor kick after that.
gotta know that that character is definitely gonna be coming through in the neutral with that sort of move, especially at that spacing where it's gonna be hard to even find a punch if it is a light one. Nice cross up right here, gets scissor kick and the blast ender in that sequence. And you see that Dogra's on this hit and run kind of game. Like he's willing to just poke away, find some damage, back off, block it out, and now find an answer for the drill.
Dogra is on his A game, that is for sure. Look at how reactive he's been playing against Sakonoko. But how much can he play against the V-trigger activation? He doesn't need to. He X-scissor kick to stop Sakonoko. Even Sakonoko in acknowledgement, he had a slight smirk on his face. He's like, I respect that. That was good.
It's like, cool, cool. You know what he's saying in his head, though. It's something different. But him looking towards his camera is like, all right, Dogra, you like that? You like that today? Okay, I see. You spin out that EX bar. But that's the problem. It's like you try to advance, you sit out any of these normals, these orbits, things like that. You have a limb out, bam, EX scissor kick. You have to worry about the bar at the bottom when you're fighting Bison. That's how it's going to determine what he's going to do in terms of his moveset and what you have to worry about. As soon as he's got bar, he's a different beast. He's still strong without that, but even stronger when he's got the bar at the bottom.
Oh, you saw the attempt for the V skill, but Sakonoko actually stopped him with the drill counter hitting just in time, actually, with the right space, but it doesn't matter. The Dogura chasing him down. Or, yes, sir. A great time to move over, but still the back throw come into play.
Back, yeah. There's the back throw. Get some distance. Corral this character. Controlling. Orb explosion on the ground if he needs to. Sends it back. I like how he retracts the orb immediately as soon as he sees or he thinks that Dogra's coming through. Be able to combat a little bit better, especially with the anti-airs.
Oh man, that was so kind of risky from Dogra. Man, you still get the confirm off that? That was actually pretty active. Pretty meaty.
Nice little bait. No, he's gonna go for the anti-air. Right to the distance. On a conversion. Needs to finish it.
And you see threatening with multiple normals just to see if Sakonoko's going to move away from that command grab right there. Forward throw. What's going to be the mix? What side? Another throw instead? Oh boy.
The switch up to the dash. EX.
Oh man.
Can you survive? No.
Blocking this. Not today. Sakonoko even told him. He said it to himself. He's like, yeah, I knew you'd fall for that.
All according to plan right there. Or stuff from Sako, you know, being able to get the activation going. And it's hard. You don't have any V-bar to V-reversal, get that off you. And you just have to block and hope, pray. Sako, I feel like he's still kind of struggling and slugging out here.
I mean, struggling, I don't know about that right now. Sitting on a perfect, he's got full control thus far against Dogra. He's been sitting at a lot of that lead. That is a giant trade, and that was so unfortunate. He couldn't get the confirm off of that.
Definitely right. Commentators curse my man Dogra out here. Unfortunate. Here's the activation off the medium. He's gonna make the return over seat. Sends out the EX. Catch him with the orb. Trips him. He's to find that one-touch situation. This is real good for Sako. Get a nice poke and harass with the buttons. All that extension on the orbs.
Again, with a time the V-shift break as well. Not only does it get him away, but it also stops that momentum. I feel like Dogra was trying to close the gap, get a little bit of chip damage as well, and find himself an opening. But he does so a little bit, does check the movement immediately after, but still Sakonoko so brave. After the light, goes in for the throw, and now it's going to be a tie ball game between these two.
So we're saying, all right, I see you. But we do see like what happens when Monat gets going, when she starts getting that momentum. Even in matchups where it might be difficult for her, if you start losing all that health, and it's like, dang. It's not even about the fact that, well, I've lost all this health. It's the fact that once you get their health down, you still have to worry about V-trigger. You worked all this time, you still have to worry about the V-trigger right behind. Like, it's difficult. We're 1-1. Game point for both players. Fierce off the bat, right to the Inferno. So it's a knockdown and the crush. Gotta press a button. Stuck him in.
Can't afford it again. Yeah, Sakonoko going for a very important tech. The stun is still racking up. Okay, slowly dissipating, and you know Dogra is fine with that. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. It's like, you know, I'm gonna let it slide this time. You see a lot of the spacing and control there from Sakonoko, using the heavy punch to kind of keep Dogra away and letting the orb go too. Speaking of orb, here comes 6 of them from Trigger.
Immediately backs away. Doesn't want anything of this at all. Doesn't believe in fortunes.
Devil's Reverse finding the mark just so smooth for Dogura. The tick throw setup, no sir, he backed away waiting for that orb he already knew.
Reversal gets the distance.
Reversal as well. Too high off the mark, but still goes for a reversal anyway. That's a counter hit. Oh boy.
That could have been it. The chase down though off the crouching light will seal it. I wonder if that could have been it, right? The super? Or the skip
I mean, 2 crouching jabs in the super, I feel like there was a little bit too much scaling involved. I don't know if I would have killed those. I don't even know.
I'm sure I'm gonna test that in the lab later.
I feel like I'm a little doubtful about it, but who knows at this point. Sakunoko didn't trust it. That's the important thing, right? He didn't trust it enough. But that's gonna put him in dire straits right now. Match point for Tokyo.
I'm trying to find out this corner. That jumping works out to get that throw. Follow up though. I'm checking the dash. And again, we're going back to the hit and run style. Let's be careful about what he does and what he reacts to. Sakunoko is playing on the reactions of what Dogura wants to do with the D skills and things like that, finding punishes.
Oh!
Face to face with the Fierce. EX.
Right into the buffer normal again. Look at that V-ship, yes sir. Oh, that trade would have been dodged. Like Dogura again. He picks such great times to be risk averse. Damn, what an anti-air from Sako.
Oh, the jump back kick. Yeah, watch out for the moments. Right behind. Careful the super situation.
There it is. That's going to be enough. More than enough, but it's so expensive. It's absolutely expensive, but you do what's necessary, right? Once the bill comes, you can't be like, hey, can you take this food back? You already ate it. You're already invested. So, it's going to be match point for either one. It's all tied up, final game, final round. Dogura will have a slight lead in terms of EX meter. All right, spending it early. I take it all back.
There's no neutral November, dog. Trying to get past this neutral. But that is a good way to play. Yo, the V skill coming through against the orb. Starting to put that out there a little bit more. And that might make Sakunoko a little bit more skeptical about sending out the orb. V-ship goes for the break. What a reaction from Sako.
Man, I really like the amount of pressure that Sako puts on with the orb just in general. Right? It really has been a different kind of approach every time, and it's caught Dogura off guard little by little. But I feel like that needs to all come to its final summit. It needs to summate to something. He needs to find some sort of opening and take it convincingly. Right now, Dogura, the more you wait, the better he plays.
That EX bar. Sako not trying to get hit any EX. As soon as I said that, the stomp. Inferno EX, one touch, dash up, and the light will do it. Dogura popping off.
I called it. The longer you wait, the better he plays. Dogura off to a fantastic start for his team. Even though it's like the second game, I feel like that's going to be the momentum he really needs to get his team going here in the second half of battles in Street Fighter League. I might have misspoken, got a little bit too hyped for him, but either way, Dogura again with a very important win against Sakunoko.
It's real hard not to get hyped for the way that he played. You'll be able to stay solid and take the things off that he was getting baited for. The V skills that he was starting to use, Sako was playing to those moments and those answers with the crouch fears. He said, I'm gonna find a punish for those. And then he took those off the table and then put them back, was at the right time to shine, and did the hit and run game plan that was what he was doing before that he was confident with. So Dogura taking over in that match that you would typically see on how Bison deals with Mana, getting a 2-1. That's a 1-1 score on both sides. Anchor point can decide a lot here.
As we get ready for the stats, we're getting ready for our third game as well. You see it right before your very eyes. The score, the anti-airs, 33% coming in from Dogura and 60% from Sakunoko. Despite his best efforts, it just wasn't enough to close it against Dogura's Dictator. It isn't without trying though. I think Sakunoko played it as well as he could, to be honest with you. I mean, he's adapted to the way Dogura wanted to play, but I feel like, not wanting to play the keep away game, Dogura played it a little bit better, which is kind of surprising, just slightly, right? Understanding full well how the matchup wants to be played, all the while maintaining his own style and how he likes to play is ever so impressive, especially against the halberd himself, Sakunoko, an absolute veteran of the game in different playstyles. So Getting into the final match, Akira, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, Saint, going in against the famed kid genius, gaming genius, Tokido.
Yeah, Tokido go back to the Urian. But Akira, I love watching this dude play. He's such a treat, people. If you haven't watched this Cammy play, I feel like if you've ever thought that Cammy was born, ever thought this character was sleep, you're gonna wake up when you see Akira play in a best of 5 situation, first of 3. This could really help a character that's momentum based like Cammy. But however, someone that has dealt with a lot of Cammys over their lifespan with the Urian pick, which isn't so favorable in the matchup, is Tokido. He's labbed it out. He stayed solid. I've been watching the CFNs. He's been playing scammy Cammy after Cammy, preparing himself for the worst.
It's funny you mentioned that, right? He clearly has it out for the Cammy of this team rather than worry about the rest of the lineup, right? He knew that he wasn't going to face up against Dogura. He did not worry about Oniki. In fact, he didn't even think MOV was going to be a threat. So that says a lot when he's like, all right, well, I'm going to be focusing on Cammy the most because this character, no matter who is piloting it, is going to give me the most amount of trouble, and for a very good reason. Akira has been destroying the competition with his inception into the league. I don't recall, actually, has he been in the league before? We've talked about this time and time again, but I want to double check before I misspeak to see what his stats is going into the matchups, right? So as it stands right now, for Nagoya Ojibari subs, he's actually been involved with the tryout tournaments, right? He won one of the tryouts to go into the team. This is actually his first time here, and he's already the captain. That's got to be pretty baller. You're coming in your freshman year and you're already the captain, playing for the senior team.
The leader of the squad.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Coming in popular. Couldn't ask for better. And you couldn't ask for better in this matchup too. Cammy going up against Urian, being able to pressure this character a lot more because of the lack of 3-frame, and coming through the dive kicks is also problematic for Urian. You don't want to be caught up in the corner, so Tokido has to be careful of how he finds the exit side.
Or even the stop side, I feel like. Yeah, that's one of them. Buffered in, standing medium punch, stopping Akira, getting his tracks to get himself some space for his own personal time. Standing medium punches a lot. Actually, medium punches in general have been the tools for Tokido. Interesting. Oh, that was tricky. And Tokido still managed to fight his way out of it with a side switch. This man is looking more and more like a Urian main every day. Oh, I take it all back. I take it all back, Tenkola.
Akira said, hold up. Let me show you what a Cammy main do, though, out here with the shimmy on him. Fold this dude like laundry. And all that work, but you got to give credit to how he stays all over the corner. That Urian mirror is so powerful for Tokido. He really prioritizes the second mirror more than other Urians that I've seen, maybe at least when he started playing this character. And you see it in a lot of mix-ups that he implements, but Akira just blocking it out, find the shimmy, staying solid, not getting open up, find the first win, but now Tokido going in.
I think Tokido might have heard you when you said fold him like laundry. The fact of the matter is, he plays Urian, baby. He dry cleans his suits. He makes sure to hang them up dry and make sure they're fresh and pressed every time he makes an appearance. And so far with his life lead, he's looking to make a grand appearance with that W on stage. We'll see how it plays out. Man, a big stop on the dash. This is so big for Tokido with the damage, firing right back. He made sure to get that delivery nice and easy, real quick, with the dry press.
Listen, I'd be feeling real pressed if I was Akira. That's why he see him going in. Everything was stopped by the mediums, and now Akira trying to run that game. Coconut Brain, EX headbutt, but immediate throw on his wake up. But the anti-airs from Tokido, he's so ready. Man, this is a slugfest. It's like we're in the parking lot of Waffle House. Wake up with the crush, the DP, the chase down. Akira. You gotta be careful of that activation for Tokido.
We see a little bit of a turn down, excuse me, a little bit of a patience coming from Akira, right? He's kind of playing the spacing game. He does have the life lead, which is kind of dangerous too because he has meter on deck. He tried to get the punish. Tokido actually tried to catch the medium kick, and this is going to be great for Akira. I may have spoke too soon. Where's the second mirror?
Right there. Trade in favor of Akira. Gets out of it.
You're dead.
To find the super, the chip. No dip. Doritos, Shields, and Fritos. Take your pick. Hit him with the chip. Akira. How fast did they play, right?
Man. He had all the meters. He had definitely so much dip for that chin. Absolutely he did. But I did want to point out the fact that he was ready for the second mirror. He was willing to make the trade with the sweep over and over again. He checked it with the low medium kick first, and then immediately went into the sweep thinking Tokido wasn't going to strike back. What I love about that decision making is that even if he gets hit by the mirror, his sweep does more damage. It causes the knockdown. It gives him a little bit more time to escape the threat, and I love that decision making from Akira.
You see that, you know, the trade combos from Sim players and stuff like that. I like that other players have taken advantage of this and not let that mirror just run the mix on them, right? Especially if they have the lead, as you said. Run the trade, eliminate it off the table, and you know, take the turn back. And just like that, you see Akira smiling. He's having a blast. He's having the time of his life right now.
So now we're seeing a kind of delay here from Tokido. Had to reset the situation, or at least reassess. I wonder if he went for a character switch. Would it be no? He actually went straight into it. Back Urian V-set 1, V-skill 1, and V-trigger 1, which is understandable, right? A lot of players kind of take their time to reevaluate their decisions and reevaluate what had happened in the previous match. I will say Akira had a very convincing round 1 and 2.
Yeah, and a lot of this, I feel like the problems from Akira had been basically getting checked with the dashes. Tokido's been so ready. Most of those are off the table, and nice neutral jump right there. And the aerial things start putting in. It's hard for Akira to be stopped. Man, I would love to see some Okuma. I'm sorry, I've missed that character. I know that's maybe not the hottest take out there, but man. But Tokido's willing to go with this. He lapped out this matchup.
He swung for the fences with that fierce too. That was a big buffer. Man, EX uppercut. What a risky play. Tokido still finding his way out unfazed. We're going to see the trigger eventually. It's after the block. How's your defense? Oh, it turned into offense instead.
EX challenge. So Tokido, no charge though. The fireball. Careful with the jump backs. See Akira on the DPs. I think it's close enough.
That was so gutsy from Tokido. I feel like Akira could have run right through it, man. That was actually very lucky. If you guys had noticed, Akira was in trigger. He could have spiral arrowed through that metallic sphere that Tokido put out there. That would have been huge.
We're rushing the coral kick. No beef with him. All vegetarian. Spiral arrow puts him in the corner with the Oki. This is where things get real dicey. Touch for the stun.
No stun, no go. It's going to be drifting down, drifting away. Tokido still sitting on trigger now, actually. Off of that block. Big anti-air. Goes to the reset. I like this. What's after the bomb? Raw activation from Akira. With the back throw, yeah, he would have definitely had a better realignment for trigger, right?
And that dive kick. Hard to take care of that. Interrupted a cherry tackle. So you're going 16 to 25. We need you to slow down. And that super won't feel it. One touch. Nice and easy. Akira.
Yeah, I mean, Akira never ever lets go once he bites down on his opponent. He's been doing a fantastic job of keeping the offense alive. That's a huge trade. Way better for Tokido. I feel like actually slightly better for Tokido. Still manages to get an open situation though.
He's tackled with a V reversal this time from Akira. Not letting him get pushed in the corner. Make him feel the pain of having a slow reversal and no 3 frame. You see Tokido bust out with the X tackle, gets that mid-range distance.
Oh, and what a time to fire away, knowing full well Akira was going to walk up. Yeah, the crouching medium punch? No, for sure that was a great stoppage. But here comes the forward throw again.
DP trade. This is in Akira's hands. It's okay, what to do for defense. Just walk under, but clips him low. No conversion into super though.
What a time of reversal. That's going to be so smart. Yo, Akira picked apart Tokido's strategy. That was actually godlike. He nullified the threat of the mirror. He got the block initially, managed to V-reversal out and put Tokido in a very awkward situation. I don't think there's anything else he could have done other than an EX headbutt at that very moment, and Akira knew damn well, he's like, I'm going to commit to this block string no matter what. If he EX headbutts me, I'm still living, I'm going to be just fine. That was such a big risk to take, but Akira made it pay off. It was so smart.
Dividends, my friend. 2-0. Tokido got to think about this one. It's just, you see the difficulty of just this matchup in general. There's not much Yuri can do. He's caught in the corner, eating too much damage, and the defensive tactics from Akira have come through in the clutch. Game point for them. Ooh, going in for the Oki.
This is looking so clean for Akira. And of course, commentator's curse comes in perfectly. Big counter hit so far from Tokido, but man, swinging away at a time he shouldn't afterwards. Akira understands your rhythm. He knows the tempo.
Now, Akira with V-Trigger on lock. That's going to make these dodge kicks hurt even worse. And the aerial oppression be even better. Tokido got to be careful. He does have Mirror on the side. Anti-air applied for medium punch, but the chain of my man actually be swinging on wake up. Is about to put Tokido back to sleep, tuck him in. Hit with the nightcap.
Very surprised Tokido didn't even get to find the activation for V-Trigger. Man, Akira finds these low medium punches faster than an eager kid trying to find Christmas presents from the closet. This guy has been searching for these normals and he always finds it every single time.
Got rich parents. Back throw, beats the bomb though. Forward medium punch, good buffer right there, gets the cherry attack. Going with the oppression. So these checks are way better on the side of Akira.
Another confirm would be it, actually. It's such a dangerous position for Tokido. He can't opt to throw it. Okay, spends it early.
Oh, we gaming! We gaming, baby! He's dog kick, double it down! Akira!
Maximum gamer! He spent 3 bars. He got paid right on the holidays. He got that extra hours, those extra shifts during the holidays. He's here to spend money on Christmas. This guy is skipping Thanksgiving, and he's showing the love to his teammates instead.
With a big win. Yo, Akira coming through. That's a loss for FAV, Roto Z, the Goyo Oja Body Star. Akira showing why he is the captain. Understand this, dog. I may be the the favorite and stuff like that, but there's a reason. That Cammy play was so dominant. It was so confident. It seals it for his team 3-1 in terms of points. That was ridiculous. Even Punch had a shot. Look at Punch's face.
He is shook. He is definitely shook to his core. I gotta admit, man, we've been saying this so far. Like, Akira is definitely one of the young guns to really keep an eye out because his style of candy play, in terms of reads and aggression, has been spot on. He has been dismantling a lot of the professional players out here. Again, he is a professional himself. He has a license. He has a license to kill and a license to thrill. This man knows how to put on a show for everybody, every single showing, and he is one of the key components. It's exactly why he's the captain of Nagoya Oja Body Stars, because best believe he is bringing the Nagoya Oja body bags for the rest of the players here. The opposition has stood no chance against the likes of Akira, and we can see exactly why.
Zip him up and chip him up. It's another win for that side, but Akira coming through for that team again. We're gonna get some trivia soon. Well, I really like how their team played overall. The character picks were great for the most part. We saw the Bison against Manat and the Cammy pick against Yuri, and that was dismantling that you would typically see in that matchup either way. No matter how labbed up you are in a matchup, you still will fall to the things that your character cannot do. And Akira just having a blast, cheering for himself, feeling great. His team's feeling great too. They've got to be feeling great for that win right there. And they definitely need it. As we said before, second half situation, Akira right now is overwhelmed with joy. He is bursting with happiness right now at the fact that he ran that Cammy pressure all over Tokido.
As he should, honestly, because this is a very important win for them starting off the second half. Knowing full well that they have the potential to take down the number 2 team with the current lineup that they have. Again, they have 2 Bisons on their team, but that hasn't really deterred them at all. Now I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to shape up for the second half for this team in particular, because again, you see next to Dogura, MOV is right beside him. I would love to see what happens once MOV gets his wind under his wings. I want to find his bearings and really show out why he's the master of movement, in fact, the master of vampires. This man, he has to not stay asleep. He needs to go out into the night and really get some training going. But we see here in the post-game interview, the team pretty much decided who will play against who since a week ago. Dogura actually volunteered himself to play against Sakunoko, and he's complaining that his anti-air should be more than 33%. Does he mean that like for himself? He's like, maybe I should do a little bit better for anti-airs, or he's saying, hey, did they get the stats right on this one? I'm kind of curious to see what the context is. But either way, Dogra definitely saying that it's a great confidence booster for the team to win against the number 2 place team through V6 plus FAV Roto Z. Absolute dominant performance, I will say, from Akira. Overall, a great deal for Nagoya Oja Body Stars.
Yeah, Akira himself saying it's a good end for the team in the first half. I definitely agree. That's kind of showing you that, you know, all these teams out here, no matter where they're at in the standings, are going to be a threat in some way. You may be second or first place, but everyone's coming for your neck, you know. So tomorrow's stream will start the second half of the league. We'll really get down to the nitty-gritty with that. We'll really understand, like, you know, who's going to really be the hungriest to take it. I feel like the people who have not found wins are going to be even more hungry. Well, Tani out there is probably going to go back to the waterfall and do some more training, you know, kind of find the center himself, because it was not looking too good for his side of the team. And, you know, they did find their mark though, but 3-1 on the side of Shinobiism versus Yogun, and then Oja Body Star with a 3-1 as well. A lot of clean sweeps, but also a lot of tight matches too we saw today as well.
Yeah, we can see how it played out, right? Good 8 squad is still at the top, but the people that played thus far, FAV Roto Z, not taking a big hit, right? They still have 1 point over Shinobi Isn't Gaming. That's actually huge because we saw them take down Gyogun, who's fallen 1 spot down to 4th, a lot closer to Nagoya Oja Body Stars, moving themselves up into 5th place. And now the bottom 3, it's ever so close. Build on Beast, Saishunkan Soul Kumamoto, and Detonation, with Comprised Detonation at the very end. Man, it's been such a close brawl in those last 3 spots to claw their way up into 5th.
Yeah, but I'm not going to prophesize nobody's demise. We've seen things shift around. Oja being just above Milodon Beast, one of the top teams. You know, it's going to be hard to see who's going to take those final spots. Good 8 squad at the top. Everyone's really gunning for them, but you got to be gunning for everybody. Tomorrow we're going to see we have the FAV Roto Z coming back on the deck against Team Soul, and then Oja Body Star versus Team Detonation. So even more play on the way. YouTube, Twitch, Milodon, hit us up. Make sure y'all are watching every bit of this great Street Fighter 5 action.
Without a doubt, you guys do not want to miss this, right? It's ever so important, as this is the second half of Street Fighter League Pro Japan 2021. You guys have been tuning in so much these last couple of months. We hear the support on both ends, across the pond, within the States. Either way, no matter where you're at, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys have been looking at some of the best in the world and how it's been unfolding and what you could expect further on in the future of Street Fighter 5. Again, we've got so many crazy matches that have been going on. We do appreciate you from our side of the table all the way to yours. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you guys next week with more Street Fighter League Pro-JP. Take care.